but I do have the code if you want it.
Sure, yeah, please.
It's lemon. So so I'll let you explain it.
Okay.
But lemon.
So we happen to be in our 8th week for Corazon Essentials, and Harmonious, I know you started a little ahead of us, but this is a continuing ongoing 8-week series, and Avesa and I have actually added on a little extra class next week, which is a pet class. That's just a little extra bonus. But we have code words for every time you're here with us live, and you were able to watch this. If you write them all down and then send it to your upline, say, hey, I got to all of them, we will gift you a car diffuser with a little special blend. This is a merging of 2 different organizations in doTERRA. I am Dana Schwartz with Corazon Essentials, and we have Avesa Love with Harmonious Essentials, and it's been so lovely. So Corazon means heart. So there's this harmonious resonance of the heart happening with these 2 groups, and I'm really grateful for all of you to be here. Like I said, today we're going to talk about non-toxic living, and I'm going to jump right in. So just a little housekeeping with Zoom. These classes are meant to be 30 minutes, and it's a lot of information. So if you have questions, throw them in the chat so we can get to them at the end. And I also want to take this opportunity to introduce Gigi Chirello. She is one of a dear, dear friend of mine, and actually, I think, brought oils to me first once when I had a sinus infection. And then I introduced doTERRA to her. And so that's the way it goes, right? We serve each other and love each other up. And she's going to help me with part of today's presentation. So without further ado, let's get started. We really are having some Zoom worlds. Okay, I got the presentation up, but now I can't find you all. Yay. It's always a victory when it works, right? So toxic-free living. I think this is a really beautiful topic. It's funny that it's our last one because I think it's often people's on-ramps when they are looking to create a more natural lifestyle. They may not think of putting their oils on them, drinking them like we do in doTERRA, taking them internally, rubbing them on our feet and putting them on their body. We might think of it easier to actually use on our counters and maybe as skincare and things like that. So today that's what we're going to talk about. Primarily, I am going to be covering a lot of the chemicals and things that are happening and why would we want to do toxic-free living? Why is this important? And so that's why I said you might want to have a pen, because we're going to talk about some chemicals and things. So please Zoom work for me. So 2 major sources of toxins that we are exposed to are in our household products and our personal care products. And I want to say something before I share all these chemicals and these specifics and the label reading, because something that I have seen in my work with doTERRA is that when we start to learn about this, we start to bring in a lot of fear. And I want to just dispel that fear before I show you everything, because sometimes when we're looking at labels and we're wanting to understand things that are in our labels, there is a whole chemistry to it. But the things that I'm going to show you today are different. And so I just wanted to make mention of that, because we have had 80,000 chemicals have been registered with the EPA is the Environmental Protection Agency in the last 30 years. Only 2% have been tested for safety. Okay, so it's a lot of chemicals being introduced to our environment within 30 years. That's really impacting our soil, it's impacting our air, it's impacting our products that we're using. And this is also quite an alarming statistic. 90% of poison exposures do occur at home. So that's something to take into consideration, how much control we can have at home. Many of the ingredients of household products are considered trade secrets. Only the manufacturer knows about them, and they do not need to be on the label, okay? So most cleaning products that we're used to are virtually chemical cocktails. They work, so we keep using them to fight bacteria and add a clean scent to our home. And I know that when I saw the pandemic starting and seeing some dear friends of mine on social media, they were like, I'm ditching all that clean stuff. And they were like joking around, but kind of not, bringing out their bleach. And so it kind of whittled away at people's beliefs. But I'm here to tell you, I believe that our essential oils are very powerful cleansing agents. And we do not need to create toxic environment at home to have a clean home. So again, this is saying most of the products, because of a proprietary law, they're not required to make, to be transparent about the ingredients, which makes it really hard to pick the right thing, right? We don't know, we're looking at labels, we're trying to be a smart consumer. And Gigi shared this image with me, and I had shared it once also, but we have had quite a change in our companies. And so knowing our company that we're purchasing from and that we come to depend on is really important in this time and day and age. And some of these companies that you can see on here might be a little alarming to you, that to realize that things like Tom's of Maine is now purchased by Colgate. So maybe you've noticed some of the ingredients and some of the things that you were using change a little. This happened to me with a company that's not listed on here, but Garden of the Earth. I used to use some of their smoothies and things, and they were bought, I believe, by General Mills. I can't remember now, it's not listed here. So this isn't just an interesting thing to take note of, and why I love doTERRA so much is that they are transparent. They tell us what's in there, and if we don't like something, they change. Which is actually, over the years, one of the reasons why I'm still here is they listen and we have a voice and we can say, hey, you know, did you know this about this ingredient? And they will change it. So I'm going to dive into some chemicals before we go into some positive things so that you know about them. And here are some also in some little do-it-yourself ingredients. Now, I want to say this, and Gigi's going to talk about it. doTERRA does have things pre-made, but some of us like to make things. And this is probably the only area that I personally have dove into the do-it-yourself world, is the cleaning supplies, because it's easy and it's joyful actually to use citrus oils and things and to have these products that you can make at home. The first time you do it, it's a little bit more of an effort because you need to get the containers and you need to pull out the recipes, but once you get in the habit, it's quite easy. So this is a sodium hydroxide is one that's found in oven cleaners and drain openers, and the health risks are pretty big. You know, I have a memory of my mom cleaning the oven and asking me to leave the house, like, leave the kitchen, don't come in here, it's really toxic. Well, we can clean our oven with other ingredients. Oh, I'm just having such Zoom issues. If you can see it, I apologize. And you can see here there's a little recipe. You might want to screenshot it. 2 tablespoons of the soap, baking soda, vinegar, and then wild orange. But you can put whatever oil you want in there. Okay, you can just have that there for your little oven scrubber. This one's a big one. I can't even say it. Usually when you can't say something, you probably don't want it in our body. And this one's found in window, kitchen, and multi-purpose cleaners. Now, we do have one, and you can also make your own. This is health risk says causes sore throats when inhaled, but there are more. There are a lot more health risks with this. It's also listed as a carcinogenic. So we can make our own all-purpose cleaner. And in fact, actually a glass cleaner with vinegar is wonderful. So this is a great glass cleaner with a cup of white vinegar, a cup of water, 10 drops of lemon, right? So at this point in time, if you wanted to make it your all-purpose cleaner, I'd add some On Guard in there, right? Why not? A little extra germ cleaners. Quats. Does anybody know about quats? Have you ever heard about quats? That's the nickname for quantum, I can't say it again, right? Can't say it, shouldn't probably be having it in your home. This is in fabric softeners. And they're a skin irritant, which can cause respiratory disorders. So this can actually cause quite a lot of contact dermatitis. And this has been known for a long time, because when I was a young child, I've always had weird allergies, and now we can kind of figure out I have autoimmune tendencies. But when I was a child, I used to have these weird rashes. We couldn't figure them out. And my pediatrician, 100% Western pediatrician, would always say, what kind of laundry detergent are you using? Are you using fabric softener? So this is widespread knowledge. This isn't just for us that we're like peering into the green cleaning world. So here's an option. Vinegar is an amazing fabric softener. If you didn't know that, you can just even add in plain vinegar as a fabric softener. It's going to help break up some of that dirt, and adding a little bit of peppermint in there, wonderful. And I personally am obsessed with my dryer balls. Anybody else? You can get little wood dryer balls and add oils to them. And you can, I like to add Serenity to my sheets for nighttime, and maybe some citrus for my workout clothes. You get to kind of design how you want things to be. Triclosan, this is a big one. This one is probably a big one for us to pay attention right now, because it's in hand sanitizers. I just started working out again in like a 4-person group, and every time we have to move from a station, we have to use their hand sanitizer. And I'm like, okay, I have to bring it on guard and do some education here, because it can be really quite an aggressive antibacterial that will lower our resistance to other, to fighting off bacteria. So we don't want to be using that. We want to use our on guard hand sanitizer and soaps. And so here's a recipe for some soaps, hand soap that you can make, which is useful right now because On Guard hand soap has, I think it just came back, or it's coming back any moment. And this is my last one, phthalates. And this is probably the one that we should all know, because this is the one that we are already being a victory in replacing out some of the things that we might be having with fragrance. Fragrance is definitely a key word that will signal that we're having phthalates in that. And these are endocrine disruptors, which means these are hormone disruptors. Phthalates are no good. They're almost in everything, even toilet paper, right? They're even in toilet paper. So we can diffuse our essential oils. We can actually put a little, I wish I had my toilet paper roll here, but we can actually put an essential oil inside the toilet paper roll. So every time you pull the toilet paper, a nice refreshing scent of whatever you choose can come out. I love to use Purify in the bathroom. I think Purify is a great one. So before I continue on, those are just a sprinkling, okay? 80,000, right? 80,000 chemicals. I just shared with you, I think 4 or 5. But there is more, and we can continue to go. As I said, this is an 8-week course. We're going to continue to do it. And next time I am going to highlight a few more, and I'm going to share with you a few more in the personal care department soon. But I want to help you figure out, how are you going to transfer, right? How are you going to start to leave some of those things behind? So step 1 is to become aware. Look over your personal care products. Look over your cleaning products. See what you're using. Look under your kitchen sink, your bathroom sink. What's there? Is there something that you can get rid of? Is there something you can replace? Step 2 is disengage the autopilot. We can do this very much on autopilot, where we're just unconsciously replacing our toilet bowl cleaners with the same toxic one, replacing the cleaners, right? So just because it has that powerful clean smell doesn't mean we need to have that. We can actually use our oils. Step 3, less is more. What I mean by that is that you do not have to tackle the entire house, everything, single thing that you've cleaned with, and all of your personal care products all at once, okay? Little by little, we can make big, big changes. But the most control we have over toxins is in our own home. So we can be intentional and not burden our bodies when we're doing these things like cleaning the toilets and washing our hands. You can think of a toxin a little bit like a grain of sand. okay, that it kind of can land on there and it's not that big of a deal. But then if we have another one and another one and another one and it piles on, it starts to make an impact on our health. So real long-term changes aren't the product of dramatic results, but gradually, very perceptible adjustments in lifestyle can be made over years. This is my 7th, maybe 8th year, right? And I think 2 years ago was the first time I made my own product. So just know that we can have time. I wanted to give this to you. I'm not going to go through each one of them. This might be a screen that you want to screenshot. These are some of the main chemicals that we can find in our personal care products, like our skincare. I wanted to bring, perfume and fragrance again there. I wanted to bring note to petroleum. That's very often found. Usually there's no harmful effects in the body. However, companies in the US do not refine this. So actually we have what's called PAH, P-A-H, which is actually classified as a carcinogenic. So what's petroleum in? Vaseline. Who uses a lot of Vaseline? Usually moms with young babies. They're told. Okay. I know I see a lot of heads shaking. I can actually see you guys. So these are good chemicals to understand and start to understand, like the coal tar dyes. And you can see here, there's lots of other names for them, okay? Usually they have a number after them and they're banned in foods, but they're still in lipsticks, shampoos, our hair dyes. So it's interesting, they're banned in foods, but we can still have them in our personal products, right? So these are things to just take into consideration as we're wanting to take care of ourselves with self-care, but yet we're maybe putting things on our body that are not self-care. So let's look at this. I think Gigi, you're up soon. Yep, here you are. Let's look at the swapping.
Yeah, thank you, Dana. And it's always such a great reminder to bring our awareness back to all the little ways that we're bringing different products into our life. And I know it was probably over a decade ago where I was kind of awoken to the chemicals in my life. And I'm an activator is one of my top strengths. And so I'm like, all right, I got to get in and I've got to like change everything in my life. I have to question, the things I'm drinking and the things I'm putting on my skin and the cleaners and everything. And I was so overwhelmed, I wanted to shut down. And so I was reminded by a friend that this is a typical pattern of mine. So I took a step back and paused and said, okay, let's focus on my bathroom. Like, let's first start with my personal products within that space. And little by little, it's changed over the years. And as Dana has already shared some really amazing DIY recipes with us, maybe the first step is actually diving into what doTERRA is already providing us. And one of the most important things for me is really believing in and trusting the companies that I'm purchasing from. And we already know the quality that doTERRA is committed to in their oils and all of their products. And like Dana said, they're constantly listening to us. And we've seen products changing over the years, which is why I feel in this relationship, it's this ever-evolving partnership together. So some of the things that we can change out in our lives, starting with our personal care products, is the toothpaste. I mean, our toothpaste, it has no fluoride in it. It has xylitol, which is great for protecting our teeth and cleaning our gums. It's in one of those cool containers that doesn't break down, and I mean, it stays its full shape. It was funny, a few years ago, a friend of mine says, I will only buy toothpaste containers that maintain their shape. But in addition to the On Guard essential oil, they also have myrrh in there, which is really powerful for healing the gums in our mouth. And it also has peppermint oil in there, which gives that nice little refreshing taste to it. We have deodorant, and now there's various different scents that they're providing. So there's Balance, Citrus Bloom, which is a new one that's being offered starting this month. And we even have one with Douglas fir and Greek orange in it. And this one is a sensitive blend. So the other two have baking soda in them, but some people have a reaction to that. So doTERRA listened to us and actually came out with a sensitive blend that has magnesium in it instead of the baking soda. We also have shampoo and conditioner. So we can get them on their own. We can get 2 packages of the shampoo and 2 of the conditioner. We can get 1 of each. We can get them in the big containers for the families. So the 32 ounces, but these are great alternatives for implementing into our lives. The smell is incredible, and it's really, I used this shampoo and conditioner all the time when I blow dry my hair straight. Granted, now I do my hair curly, so it doesn't work as powerfully for curly hair. But this is great when I blow dry straight. So we really want to use things in a way that's effective for us. And then our Virage skincare. So doTERRA has several different lines of skincare, and this Virage is their all-natural line. It's beautiful. I've been using it for years. It has a cleanser, a toner, moisturizer, and serum. And I know a few weeks back, we did a whole class, I believe, on skincare. So you can take a look at that one for some more information on the details. Do you want to flip the screen? There we go. And so some products that we have for our households. As Dana was already mentioning, some of the cleaning products, we have the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, which is great as a multi-use cleaner, bathrooms, it's good for dishes, tough jobs. And what's really cool is that it's concentrated. So you only need usually about 2 or 3 tablespoons of the concentrate mixed with water or vinegar or different recipes. And there's actually different little recipes on the bottle itself, so you don't even have to go search for it. I love putting this in a spray bottle and spraying down the counters with it. We have the foaming hand wash, and you the pictures down below of typical cleaning products that you're going to see out on the market. And this pink one is one of my biggest pet peeves. You go into public bathrooms and they have this fluorescent pink hand soap in the dispensers. And I can't use it. I'd rather have dirty hands. Granted, I carry my hand sanitizer with me, so I don't have dirty hands, but I feel more protected with my hand sanitizer until I can actually get home and clean them myself with my On Guard foaming hand wash. And I love this hand wash. You don't need a lot of it, and it's because it's that foaming one, so it goes a long way, and it's great to have in the bathroom, on the kitchen counter. And it's gentle on the skin, so it's not drying, which is really nice. And another thing too is with the hand soaps, oftentimes these other companies are creating these antibacterial hand soaps, which we think are great, and it's killing all the bacteria, but it's also killing the good bacteria. So it's weakening our immune systems, because our immune systems need that good bacteria to help strengthen ourselves. Then we have the diffuser. Dana was already touching on this. You see below those candles with those scents that people are often burning in their house. The scents are endocrine disruptors. They are so, amongst other harmful ways of hurting our system. And we have the use of a diffuser to really support and strengthen our system. And you can do that with any sorts of oils and create a mood in your house. It's interesting because when people walk into my house, they're like, this house smells amazing. Or they'll walk into my office. My goddaughter will walk in and she's like, oh, oh my goodness, your room smells incredible. And it's interesting because after a while, I don't smell it as much because I'm immersed in it. But yet it's so nice to know that it's still there and it's doing the work, whether I'm conscious of it or not. And then finally, the On Guard laundry detergent. So I love this detergent, and I've actually never been a big detergent person. Like, I would just get whatever I could off of the shelves. But this, actually, the first time I used it, I had a stain on my favorite shirt. And so I wouldn't get rid of it because it was my favorite shirt. But for years, and the first time I used this laundry detergent, because of the enzymes in it, which are all natural based, it took the stain out. I was flabbergasted. I wasn't even trying to get the stain out, and it came out. And what's really cool too is that there's 10 milliliters of On Guard oil. So in this bottle of laundry detergent, which is quite a lot, especially if you compare it to what our 15 milliliter bottle actually costs. It's a pretty good value that we get this in our laundry detergent. And I think that's it.
Thank you, Gigi. I was just going to share, since you shared about a stain, that the On Guard Cleaner Concentrate is an amazing stain remover if you just use it direct, not diluted, but on like really tough stains, like a grass stain or a red wine stain or chocolate stain or anything like that. If you put that on there a little bit and then throw it in the laundry, works really, really great. It's really, really great. So really a lot of these non-toxic alternatives are cheaper because they last longer, right? This one bottle of On Guard Cleaner Concentrate, I don't have to buy that very often. I don't know about you all and how many rooms you have in your home, but I don't have to buy that very often because that can make about 20 bottles, you know? So we'd like to show you an example of an LRP wellness box with these kinds of products. This would be 133 PV value, $162, and you're getting the shampoo and conditioner. You're getting the cleaner, which like I said, it lasts for a very long time, the toothpaste, hand sanitizer, and a whole skincare line, which is probably what you would pay or more just for the skincare line if we're really looking at having a toner, a cleanser, a serum, and a moisturizer, plus Purify, which I love to even just put a drop in the base of my kitchen garbage. Every time I take the garbage out, I always put a drop of Purify in there, inside the bag and underneath the bag, just as a way of keeping things nice and fresh. Oops, whoa, that went fast. So that is the conclusion of that moment, but I do want to take a minute and share with you, Avesa made our schedule up so you can see what's ahead. Finally, we have a schedule as we're completing our cycle for our next cycle. So you can make sure that you can let your friends know that are joining or bring anyone for these dates. Next week, we are doing oils and pets. I will be teaching. And then we have oils for every age, and you can see that it goes on there. And today, I'm going to talk a little bit more for our business portion of the call about co-impact sourcing. And I'd love to just give us a couple-minute break to go get up, stretch, get some water. If you want to stay here and ask questions, I'll stay here with you as I pull up the next part of the presentation, and I can chat through and just answer any questions you have about that first part of what we learned. Thanks for your attention. I know it's a lot. So we'll start back at, what time is it? Oh, it's 11:30. Yay, we're getting good at the half hour. We'll be back in 3 minutes officially, but I'm here if you have questions. Just chat through, you can unmute yourselves. Question about if you're making anything to spray, should it be in a glass bottle like vinegar? Yes, except for doTERRA does sell plastic safe, what are called continuous spray bottles. And I love using those for cleaning supplies. And those, I wouldn't put the vinegar and stuff. I would just use water and the oils in there, and those are okay. But otherwise, yeah, you can get the glass bottles on Oil Life or I forget the other name. I usually get them from Oil Life these days, but you can find those even on Amazon. which I'm not really supporting. But how much laundry soap? It tells you, Terry. It's not very much. It does tell you. It gives you a little cup to use, right, Gigi? I don't have it actually, but it gives you a little cup, like a sizing to how much laundry detergent you use. Mm-hmm. Okay. Any other questions? And well, I'm going to pull up. I am going to show a very short video actually on rose, because I think that rose is one of the most fake fragrances that are added to different kind of personal care products that are out there. So let me just stop my share for a minute while y'all are stretching. And any other questions? Oh yeah, one more coming through. Missed the recipe for the oven cleaner. You know what I'll do is, well, maybe I can pull it up. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. I'll be back in just a moment with our rose video and a short talk on our business, and as well as compact sourcing, which I'm really excited to talk about today. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I am going to play a very short video. It's not one of our longer ones on rose essential oil, where it comes from, and it talks a little bit in the video about our co-impact sourcing model, and I'm going to tell you a little bit more about that. I think it's probably one of the coolest things that doTERRA, well, Healing Hands and co-impact sourcing, and Avais talked about I mean, we have a lot of cool things, but I think the co-impact sourcing is one of the coolest things that I'm personally impressed with. It's really quite powerful. And as I said, if maybe some of you were taking a break, rose happens to be probably one of the most synthetic forms of things, that fragrance that's found in a lot of personal care products. And we get to have pure rose from Bulgaria. Let me make sure I stop all the videos from playing over here. So Bulgaria is also a place where we got some of our Melissa from, and some other of the oils, and we are now have created a distillery there which continues to create jobs. This is one of the things that is really beautiful in our co-impact sourcing. So let me just bring up my PowerPoint to share about that a little bit. Actually, I'm going to go straight to the Source to You site for this, because they have done a really good job, and I want you all to see where this information is so that you can go back and see it on your own and spend some time there. So this is actually not a PowerPoint. This is the Source to You.
You're muted, Dana.
Thank you. What I was going to say is I'm not going to be sharing a PowerPoint for this part. I'm taking you straight to the Source to You website because I want you to all know where this is. There are many, many sourcing stories here. So you can go, this is the Source to You site, and you can literally read and understand where so many of our oils are coming from. Right? It's really quite incredible. But what I want to talk to you really about today is actually our sourcing principles, which are here also. Where did they go? You see, we need to update. So it says 40 nations. It's actually now 47, but we have over 100 essential oils from all over the globe. And we actually have a map that I can show you, which is something that I don't know if we all know. So I wanted to go through these sourcing guiding principles. I got asked a lot of questions this week, actually, about the integrity of doTERRA. We're all in a process of really discerning and looking at things from a very, wanting to really understand things. And so co-impact sourcing creates a shared value for all of the stakeholders in the supply chain by being a source at the source and intentionally implementing environmental stewardship and or social impact initiatives. So there are some concerns sometimes from people, oh, this is the largest essential oil company in the world. Are we sustainable? Yes, this is very important to doTERRA. So we can look at that where it's important for us to be integral environmentally and also with the human beings that are of that environment. So number one, generating jobs, having fair and on-time payments, number two, right? Number three, building supplier capacity. That's talking about sustainability and making sure that we have enough plants to make our oils and also continue to grow more, and that the earth is being, resupplied and nourished, and they're rotating different crops and really working and learning about sustainability in agriculture, because this is an important thing at this time. Okay, so they're constantly looking at that, which I love. And then also building long-term partnerships with farmers and communities on the ground. Then the fifth principle is having fair labor conditions, promoting cooperatives between what once might have been competition between different growers and creating cooperatives. And then also having environmental stewardship. I like to point to our newest oil, black spruce, to see about this, and also arbor vitae, some of our tree oils, and see how we actually use the scraps that would have once been burned or thrown away to get our oil. So that's really beautiful to me. And facilitating community development. And this means things like bringing water to areas that haven't had water, bringing birth centers and healing centers to areas. So you can really spend some time here looking at these principles, right? And really going into it, which I want you to be able to do on your own and really understand and look at these pieces. Some of the videos are not here. You'll have to go to doTERRA YouTube to get those videos. Any questions on this while I pull up the last piece of our time together? Or does anybody have a story or a favorite co-impact story that touches their heart that they'd like to share, that they saw and heard? Or I'd love to hear from you all. Quiet group.
I'll share. It's a known story. I always cry every single time when I watch that video. It's the Nepal co-impact sourcing video after the earthquake, and it just kills me. Like, it kills me in a good way. Like, it really, like, every time I watch that video, that how doTERRA co-impact sourcing managed to support those communities and bring life back. Basically, their homes were destroyed, everything was destroyed, and how they connected with these people so closely, like heart to heart, so as if they were like just one family. Like, it wasn't just doTERRA is just suddenly there to do something. It was literally like a family working on bringing life in back to that area and environment that was totally destroyed. And yeah, that one, I try to even share it sometimes when I teach, not because I like to cry, but I think it's so powerful. I really do think it's really powerful. I love that story.
I love that one too. Nusha, that's my experience with the vetiver video. I cannot watch our co-impact sourcing vetiver video without crying, and it's hard for me to show sometimes and teach and keep it together. I understand how Emily Wright is always crying. Emily Wright is one of our founders. She's a female founder, and she does have a tendency to cry when she talks about the people, because she's also on the ground meeting them and knowing them, and they have become part of her family. And she's a founder. She doesn't need to be doing that. That's what just amazes me. She does it because she loves it. And so I do have a little bit more to share about if you feel inspired to also become more of an educator with doTERRA. So I'm going to share my screen one more time. Mm-hmm. And this is really our principle, and a lot of you have been here for 8 weeks, so you're hearing this. And so if there's a question that you have, I really want to make myself available to be able to answer them, because we are going over this rather quickly, because if you are a yes to share the oils or teach others, then we really encourage a more one-to-one meeting, right? To just help you move in that direction. But this is really the pattern that happens with us in doTERRA, is that we use them and we can't help but share them. And then some of us want to go on and teach others. And there's lots of ways we can do this. So there's really 3 ways to share, not just to build, but to share. One way is that you can create a referral partnership. Let's just say you're not interested in learning how to sign someone up, how to get them their own oils, but you want to share with your community. You can connect up with a person who invited you and say, hey, I know a lot of people that want oils, but I'm not able to spend the time and energy to learn how to help them and educate them. Can we create an arrangement? If I bring you, so many referrals, and then you can receive some oils. So, or I can receive some oils if I do that. If I refer out to you, and then you can create that kind of relationship. Let's say you just are loving adaptive and it's not quite in your budget, but you know a lot of people. You could really work towards that exchange with you and your mentor, or what we say in doTERRA in the business side, your upline. The second way would be that you actually choose to enroll them and get extra income straight from doTERRA, where they will pay you in different levels, and I'll show you that in a moment. And this can be anywhere from just enrolling a few friends to really going on to the third option of building a team and creating supplemental and residual income that could replace your income and actually grow your income probably beyond where you are now with the kind of amazing compensation plan that doTERRA has. So this is just a little bit of that compensation plan. So if you wanted to pay for your product, this is what it would look like. It would be about 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours a week. I know that one of my dear friends, her name is Aisha Harley. Maybe you've seen her around in doTERRA. I know that when she first started, she was a yoga teacher and she only had 1 hour a week to do doTERRA. And she is now a presidential diamond, which is, you'll see that in a moment. That's one of the highest ranks. So things change, okay? And so you can see here these squares. That's what I'm saying, ranks. These are different levels that we can achieve within doTERRA for different income ranks. So you can see that this is about average within the company, and it does include other bonuses. That's what these colors are. And again, this is something that's best gone over one-to-one with your personal needs and your timing, but I want to give you that taste of it today. Let's say you're more in that supplemental income, which means, oh, I want to make like 500, 1,000, maybe even 3,000 as supplemental income towards the household. A month, that is what I'm saying when I say 500, 3,000, these are monthly incomes. This would be more like 10 to 15 hours a week and monthly enrolling 4 new customers and finding 1 person to join your team a month in the beginning. Let's say you wanted to replace your income and perhaps even expand it. This is more like a 15 to 30 hour work week and enrolling twice as many people, okay? And these are the income levels that are possible when we get into that range of replacement income and beyond. I said presidential, that's the purple one up here at the top. And there's diamond and blue diamond. And you can see here, these are the different incomes and bonuses that one would discuss with you if you wanted to look at the compensation plan with someone. So presentation ideas. Right now, for most of us, we are working this way through Zoom. But I wanted to just walk through the possibility of maybe people are opening up, maybe we can get together in parks, maybe you can do a Facebook chat or a Zoom, or even maybe a coffee shop. And the different ways that we can do these presentations is we can do an official class, right? So today I had a one-on-one class this morning. Some of you invited people to. Or you can do one-to-ones where you're really meeting in an individual way and really sitting down either over Zoom or in person together and going over health goals and needs. If you're brand new and you're not quite ready for that, you can create a 3-way call with your mentor and they can help you start to slowly learn how to do it. And then there's also online webinars. The best way to do this is to really give your friend a sample of the oil that will give a quick result. What I mean by quick result is that we're not going to go treat the chronic IBS with a sample, but we might give something that's going to help with the discomfort that happens, okay? And if they live outside your area, you can mail a sample out for the experience. And once they've had that positive experience, let's get them to a class or a one-to-one. These days, I've been inviting a lot of people without sampling, and it does take longer. It does take longer. So I do recommend sampling because they learn, they haven't used the oil, they need that oil experience. So I'd talk a little bit more about the samples here. So we could think things like headache, digestion, pain, stress, and then we can just go through a little bit of the cool outline of our classes, tell them 3 cool things about oils and 3 ways to use them, and we show them the kits. It's very simple. We use oils, share oils, and teach them. That's really what we do. We also have training with this wonderful human being. Her name is Elise Sadavi, and she has created a lot of training for us in doTERRA. And as Avesa said last week, she might look a little intimidating here. This is probably the most fancy I've ever seen her. In person, she is, you know, ponytail and sweatsuit kind of lady, and she's just incredible. She's a really good teacher and a really warm heart that we get to learn with. So we do have 2 different programs going with her right now that we can learn together, and also individually at our own pace, which I love. I think that's it. So yeah, we're done. When we share doTERRA, we bring hope, and the world does need hope right now. And so please don't stop in using your oils and sharing your oils. Please continue to be that ray of hope and light for your families and your communities. Even though these are really teeny tiny little brown bottles and they might seem insignificant, we all know, those of us that have been here, that they're a life changer, and they can often be a lifeline for someone, as well as this business. This business can be a lifeline. And I have seen it more and more and more. And, you know, someone recently asked me, do you know anyone who's made money with doTERRA? Right? They were like, just because multi-level marketing, it seems like who could actually really make money with doTERRA? And actually, I know so many people. And my husband and I have lived off of doTERRA for 4 years now. 4 years we've lived strictly off our doTERRA checks. We're hoping to open it back up, our acupuncture practice, but it has supported us. And so, yes, it's a real business model. And it's a real gift in a world that we're living in these days. So thank you for your time and your attention. And I am available if you have questions. Evase is here if you have questions for her. Gigi's here if you have questions for her. So let's open it up and see if there's any comments, questions, or experiences that you would all like to share with one another. Silent? You're welcome. Thank you, Lynn.
I just wanted to say thank you all so much. I'm
Thank
so,
you.
so grateful for our team and this collaboration.
Thank you, Amy.